Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you happen to be. We are presenting our final project. This is within the International Business Operations career. We are group third D. This is our final integrative project for the exportation plan of the Queso Asadero Wallander. The team members are Miroslava Cardosa Martinez, Melanie Astrid Martinez Salas, Nubia Anais Maturano Aguirre, Cintia Victoria Guzmán Morales, Valeria Samantha Zúñiga Reyes, and Oscar Erasmo Villegas Moreno. Our external advisor is Ms. Maria Cristina Vázquez Olvera, and we are representing Universidad Tecnológica de Durango. Without further ado, we'll demonstrate our final project.
Hi, my name is Cintia Guzman, and I am going to talk you about the first and the second chapter of this integrative project. The first chapter is the approach of the problem. Next slide, please. The first point of this chapter is the problem statement. It all started with the trade opportunity that was foreseen in the American cheese market. Through studies of national and international authorities and universities, we noticed that the consumption of these products in the US had increased dramatically in the last 30 years, jumping from 11.3 pounds per person in 1970 to 31.2 pounds per person in 2000. These numbers continue to grow today, and one of the reasons for this is the global trend of Americans wanting more varieties in flavors and food. Next slide, please. The second point of this chapter is the general objective. Well, we're trying to expand the product capability. In order to do that, we had to ask these questions. What are we selling? That will be the cheese, Asadero cheese. The where is here in Durango, Mexico, and also the market in USA, more specifically Los Angeles, California. To who we are selling this, it's the Latin American market because they are the ones that actually will be looking for this type of product since they know the product and how we are going to do this. Well, this is why we did this project. This integrated project is going to answer that question. Next slide, please. Then we have the second chapter of this integrative project, that is the company's diagnosis. Next slide, please. Here we can appreciate some information about the company as its name, that it's Wallander, the type of the company, that it's industrial, and the economic sector, that is food and commercial sector. Their slogan, that is Deliciosa Tradición, and their activity is to sell products made with milk. Then we have the history. Well, everything started when Mr. Ricardo Wallander found this company who started to produce artisanal cheeses in the colonial house of 1800. And then Alejandro Wallander, son of the founder, managed to expand the variety of cheese in addition to other dairy products, among them milk with unique characteristics in the market, founding a manufacturing plant that was moved to the Jose Maria Morelos y Pavón ranch, known as Latinaja Durango. Then we have the best-selling products that are the chipotle cheese, Durango cheese, jalapeno cheese, and grilled cheese in its different presentations. And finally, we have the logo of the company, that is this little image that you can appreciate here. Next slide, please. Then we have the second point of this chapter, that is the production and export capacity. The company doesn't currently have any exports, but it has a potential for production expansion since the company has a large capacity to supply local branches, retail stores, and wholesalers. Next slide, please.
My name is Miroslava Cardosa, and I am going to talk about the chapter number 3, that is about the product description. This chapter includes the name and image of the product, the morphological analysis, and the type classification of the product. The name and image of the product. The name of this product is Queso Asadero Wallander in its presentation of 400 grams. And the form that has this product is cylindrical or circular. The diameter is of 14 centimeters and the width is of 2.5 centimeters. The label mainly includes in the upper part of the label the company's brand with the logo and also their phone number. And also around the label are all the ingredients that were used to produce this product. In the middle part, there is the nutritional information, and in the bottom we can see the name of the product and also the content of it. Next slide, please. Morphological analysis. The common name of this product is Asadero cheese, but its commercial name is Queso Asadero Wallander. The frequent use is for gastronomy or human consumption, and the specification or the main specification that it has is that it must be under a temperature from 1 degree to 4 degrees. The origin is Mexico, and the nature is animal kingdom. Next slide, please. Ingredients. The ingredients used in its process of production is pasteurized semi-skimmed cow's milk, lactic cultures, rennet, calcium chloride, and iodized salt. The obtaining method is the following one. The milk is mixed and then heated, and then the rennet is added until it sets. It must be rest until it sets. And then it is heated again while moving in vertical movements to get the form that the Asadero cheese has. And then it is removed from the heat and also drained to get away all the serum as much as possible. Then it is heated again just to eliminate the rest of the serum. And finally, it is emptied and molded as the form that it is supposed to have. Next slide, please. Now I am going to talk about the type classification. The section in which it is classified is the section 1, in which we can find live animals and animal products. And the chapter is 04, in which we can find dairy products or whichever type of product that has animal origin. And well, this chapter has a legal note that establishes 3 characteristics that a product must have in order to be classified in this chapter. The first one is that the milk fat content must be of 5% or more. And the second one says that the dry extract content of the product must be greater than or equal to 70%, but less than or equal to 85%. And finally, the product must be molded or likely to be. And our product accomplishes all these characteristics. Next slide, please. The heading in which it is classified is the heading 0406, in which we can find cheese and curd. And this heading also has a legal note that establishes that in this heading we can find every kind of cheeses. And also it provides the definition of a fresh cheese, which is a cheese that has not matured but can be consumed shortly after its elaboration. The subheading is 040610, and its name is fresh cheese, including whey cheese and curd. And the type fraction, which has the same name as the subheading, is 04061001. Finally, the applicable tariff to imports is 45%. To export, it is exempt, and for IVA, it is 16%. Next slide, please.
Hi, my name is Amanda Zuniga, and this is chapter number 4, the market's description. The first point is the country's destination, and the second one is the market goal objective. Next slide, please. Okay, the first point, country's destination. Here we are going to talk about culture, language, and customs and traditions. Culture, as we know, America is an immigrant country, therefore they have a great diversity of people, of food, of culture in general. So this is really important because they like diversity. It's important to say that the people that brought culture to America were the colonizers, the settlers, the immigrants, and of course the Native American people. Now we have language. Although America does not have an official language, the most spoken language is English, American English to be more specific, and the second most spoken is Spanish. Now we have customs and traditions, and as I already mentioned, most of the customs and traditions were brought from the UK, and the rest were adaptations of other countries' traditions. We can say Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, Halloween, and the most important day to American people is 4th of July, that is the Independence Day. Next slide, please. Now we have the market goal objective. Okay, the market we are seeking for is the Latin American market, that it's towards the people that consume cheese. It's important to say that the consumption of cheese have increased over the years in the American population, but of more than 325 million of people living right now in the USA, almost 59 million are of a Latin origin. This represents the 19% of the population. And it's important to say that Los Angeles, California, the market where we want to sell our product, is the state with most Latin people living in it. They represent the 45.2% of the total of the population. Next slide, please. Now we have chapter number 5. Okay, chapter number 5 is about negotiation plan. And here I'm going to talk about the type of negotiation and the negotiation techniques. Now, type of negotiation, the integrative negotiation, this is the one that we are using. We want to achieve, or we are looking forward to a win-win situation. We want to get maximum benefits for both parties, also to create a comfortable environment in order to get more benefits for everyone. It's important to say that we want to establish a good relationship with the company so we can work with them in the future. Next slide, please. Okay, now we have the negotiation techniques. The steps we are using is the 7 steps to reach an agreement in the negotiation. The first one is prepare. This tells us to have all the information that could be useful for us in order to have all the knowledge in the meetings. The number 2 is leave or go behind. This tells us not to show or not to care that we win or that we lose. Number 3 is to listen. This is a really important point because this tells us to understand what the people want and what they are willing to give us. Number 4, don't focus just on winning. This is not a race, this is a negotiation. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you have to be straight on your thoughts and in your mind. Number 5, be prepared to give something up. As I already said, sometimes we need to give and we need to receive when we are negotiating, and that it's okay. We don't have to win all the time. Number 6, pay attention to timing. For American people, time is money. So it's really important to be aware of what our schedules are, of what we already agreed, what the time they told us that the meeting will be long. So this is a really important point. We need to have it in mind. Number 7, class win confirmation. And this helps us to recap everything that was said in the meeting and to be sure that we are everyone in the same symphony. Next slide, please.
About the chapter number 6, the title of the chapter is Transportation Selection. Here we have like the principal topics to talk about that are lot type, transport country origin, and also transport country destination, the insurance, the logistic route, and the custom. Next slide, please. And here we have the first part of the chapter, that is the point 6.1 lot type. The type of lot is general cargo. Due to our quantity of boxes to export, we decided to classify our lot as a fractional cargo, and we wasn't able to fill the container, so we are going to send our merchandise in a consolidated way. Next slide, please. Then we have the points 6.3 transport country of origin, and the point 6.5 transport country of destination. In the country of origin, we have, that is Mexico, we have the terrestrial transport, and in the travel that the merchandise is going to do, and we have to USA, sorry, is the air transport, and we think that the buyer is going to use also the terrestrial transport to transport the merchandise. And next slide, please. Then we have the 6.6, that is the insurance. Well, the insurance would be paid by the seller according to the Incoterm that we are using. Sorry, that is the Incoterm SIP. But due to we are working together with FedEx, that is the International Parcel Service. The international parcel already include the insurance, so the seller doesn't have to pay for it. Next slide, please. Then we have the point 6.7, that is the logistic route. We have the steps of the route that is pretty easy, in my opinion. The number one is that the travel starts in Wallander branch, Durango, Durango. The merchandise will be translated to Durango International Airport. One time there, we start with the second step, that is in Durango International Airport. The merchandise is going to be sent to the International Airport of Mexico City. And the last step, that is the number three, is in the International Airport of Mexico City to Los Angeles International Airport. This route have approximately 6 hours the, the, to the beginning and to the ending of the transportation of the merchandise. Next slide, please. Then we have the last point, that is 6.8, customs. And we have only two customs that are in the airport. The first one is in the country of origin, located in CDMX International Airport Customs number 47, section 0. And the another custom is located in the country of destination in the airport LAX, LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, California. Thank you.
Okay, then we have chapter 7. It's about the logistic budget or the export cost. Next slide, please. This first section is about the production cost. It includes the labor force cost and the production cost. This last one is about the quantity of ingredients used per month. And we have a final amount or quantity in kilograms of cheese. It's 88 kilograms of cheese per month. If we make the addition of these two totals, next slide, please. We have an amount of 15,401 pesos. Once we have this amount, we can divide it between the 88 kilograms and have a total per kilogram. And once we have the total per kilogram, we can have the price of grains. The cheese we're going to export has a weight of 400 grams. So that means that the sales price is going to be 70 pesos. And the utility wanted is 30%. That means that the company has a gain of 21 pesos. That means that the cheese or the product needs to be sold in 91 pesos. Next slide, please. Then we have the commercial cost that includes the sales per month of Asadero cheese and the digital marketing costs. The approximate sales of cheese per month are 150 cheeses. With a unit price of 70 pesos, it gives us a total of 10,501 pesos with 50 cents. And then the digital marketing, it's a duration of different months, and each campaign, it's with campaigns, and each campaign has different promotions, and the price to pay depends of the campaign type. If we make the addition of these two amounts, we have a total of 29,101 pesos with 50 cents. Next slide, please. The third section are the administrative cost, and it's divided into the fixed fee and the variable fee. In fixed fee, we have a total of 1,521 pesos, and in variable fee, we have a total amount of 5,100 pesos, and we have a final amount of 6,621 pesos. Next slide, please. The financial cost. The financial cost of the company will be zero. This is because the company does not have any monetary loans or from third parties. Next slide, please. And to finish with this chapter, we have the export cost. We have the total cost of the commercial cost, production cost, and administrative costs. We have the merchandise value that is 91 pesos. The units to export are 380 cheeses. And if we make an addition uh, of the cheeses and the unit price, we have an amount of 34,580 pesos. And the total amount with all the cost and the price, we have an amount of 85,704 pesos. Next slide, please. The Incoterm decided to use by Wallander company is SIP. This is because since they tell us that they don't have the enough, or they feel they don't have the enough tools to make to use a different Incoterm. And with all the previous Incoterms, we have a final amount of SIP that is 165,687 pesos with 26 cents. And next slide, please.
Now we're going to hear about chapter 8, which is the regulation and export documentation. In the customs regime, um, we have established that it's definitive, given the fact that this allows national and nationalized merchandise to leave the country or the customs territory for its definitive use or consumption. Given the fact that it's actually Asadero cheese, we obviously are not going to look forward to having the merchandise returned to us. So it's definitely definitive because it's remaining in national territory, in this case, in the United States, Los Angeles, California. Now, what does this actually imply? What does this customs regime imply? It's basically subject to any tax. Um, it will pay foreign trade taxes, compensatory fees, and will comply with the applicable non-tariff regulations and restrictions. In this case, further on, we're going to I'm going to explain what are the exact fees that are applied to this specific merchandise. But that's actually something that is on our side, because given the fact of its specific classification, it it won't actually have to pay that many tax fees or compensatory fees, or I think any, for that matter. So let's see, let's continue. Next slide, please. Now we have here the tariff preferences. In the tariff preferences, we obviously have what is the general export tax, right? This is because of the entry or exit of goods in this case in Mexico. This information can be found in the customs tariff. It's an instrument that provides all the tariff items that can be used in Mexico, specifically in Mexico, as well as the tariffs and other taxes that may actually apply in different in other different countries applicable to so it's actually applicable to import and export merchandise. It's always regulated by law of the National General Import and Export Taxes. In this case, you can see the initials IGE for the Mexican. As a tariff preference and advantage, this is granted countries in foreign trade, right? This is why we have the agreements, the treaty that in this case it's the DMEC, and we can see many of these things applied to these tariff preferences, right? In regards to the classification, we have that set on the Asadero or cheese, which is right the in this case the exportation of the product. I will in regards to the barrier or non-regulatory tariffs. We have what does this imply? Barrier or non-regulatory tariffs. Governments establish non-tariff regulations in order to control the flow of goods between countries to protect the production plant, right? We have to protect the production plant and national economies, or to preserve the goods of each country. It's classified by these three bullet points that you see on the screen. The first one being import and export permits. They restrict the entry of certain merchandise. In general, they are related to the food industry and issued by the Ministry of Economy in Mexico. The second point is the quota or the quantity control. In the quota, the number of merchandise that can be exported is limited, right? So that national products are consumed before foreign ones, specifically foreign ones. The third point is measures against unfair international trade practices. What does this mean? These measures try to prevent under-evaluation and price discrimination, right? This case, in particular, our operation is free of both tariff and non-tariff barriers. So that's actually very favorable for the product, because this definitely means that handling the product, no barriers apply to the export in general. It's pretty straightforward. This means that it makes the price lower and more attractive to the customer, which gives us an upper hand in the market, in the competition abroad. Next slide, please. And finally, the exact documentation that is required for these exportations are for the commercial invoice, the packing list, origin certificate, and the petition. In regards to the commercial invoice, the documentation identifies the seller and customer of the goods and services, right? Within the documentation, you will find the invoice number, the date, the shipment, means of transportation, delivery, payment terms, description, prices, discounts, and even quantities on the commercial invoice.
I can say that after investigating the possible market of the destination where the product will be sent, concluding that this is a great attraction within the American community and the Latin America community that consumes dairy products, there really is a market with a high opportunity for the success of the Wallander company. In addition, after calculating the cost of shipping, transportation, the time it will take to ship the product, the permits, documents, and certificates that it must have since it's a product for human consumption, I allow myself to affirm that this is an effective export plant.
As a conclusion, I can say that this project helps me too much because I just don't put in practice everything I learned. Of course I did, but I realized that I really learned because at some point of this quarter, I thought or I used to thought that I wasn't good enough in this career, and that maybe I I I had made a mistake uh, choosing this career. And during the process making this integrative project, I noticed that I really learned and I could do the things. So it really helps me to develop my mind and my thinking way. Also, it helps me to be more empathic with my partners because we are a team, and of course, sometimes we didn't have like the same channel. So it was a really sometimes it was difficult for me because I felt under pressure, and also it helps me because now I know how to work under pressure, and it helps me to know how to make the things. Talking about the career, how to make the things and how to make a research and how to search things about a product. Also, it helps me to understand better the tariff fraction. It helps me to make different calculus that at the beginning of the quarter I didn't understand at all. I have really good teachers that love what they are doing and love to teach, and they care about make that the students learn. I think that's all for my part.
As a conclusion, this is one of the most eye-opening projects that done, and obviously in regards to the exportation of the product, we completely went step by step. There is things that are taken for granted when you obviously think about exporting a product. You might just think that, oh, okay, the main issue is, well, we have the product here. Now, how do we make it towards over there? But then the little things start to get in the way. Laws, regulations, characteristics, all the WH, the what, the how, the why, the who, the where. And we had to go through all of these steps um, in order to make this export plan liable, real, something that can actually be used for an actual exportation. It's amazing to me. It was great. It's fantastic. I honestly had the best team on my side. They were very supportive of all of the information. Very easy for the girls to actually obtain all the information. I did learn a lot from this project.
Conclusion, as we know, Wallander is a Mexican uh, company that produces and markets handmade regional sweet products and milk products. And I think that Wallander nowadays is one of the biggest branches here in Durango that produces this kind of products with an extensive variety of other ones. And I think that they have the capacity to produce and due to the capacity to export to the United States this kind of products like the Asadero cheese. Well, as we as I read about it, the in the United States already exists a demand of this kind of products. So I think that the feasibility to to this product or to another similar product is in the United States. I think that Wallander should consider to export or to take into consideration this exportation plan. Thank you.
The conclusion, I will say that this has been one of the hardest and longest projects that I've ever done. This helped me a lot to understand my major. To be honest, I was not aware of all the work that it took to export, to do all the investigations, do all the researches, because it's really different to learn something in the class and with the teacher and with your classmates to actually put it into work, and seeing this practical project helped me to see that every single step is important, that everything we do have a reason to do, and that all of the subjects that we take are in fact really important, so we can apply it in projects like this one. So I was not aware of all the importance of the majors and the subjects, but with this project I realize now, and I'm really thankful because even though we have a lot of challenges, not only because of the pandemic but because of mental health or even in our house or families, and even in our team, we could overcome everything, and everything went through in a really good way. We could finish our project, and I am really happy and I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to present this final project, the Integrative project. Thank you.
As a conclusion, I would say that this project gave us the opportunity to apply not only the theoretical knowledge that we have acquired in the university, but also practical knowledge. It is better when it is understood the information with an example, with a real example, than an invented one. And well, finally, I would recommend the company to start growing with exportations, because exporting to other countries or in an international market could give them the opportunity to grow faster than if they do that in the country. Thank you.